got done with the last event, and it's time to look over Johnny and do some updates. And one of the things I've got to look at is his arm here. It's got a little play. It's not supposed to move like that. Not that much play. Little play is okay, not that much play. So we'll have to crack into it and see what's going on. All right, note to others that are building a Johnny 5. I've got disconnections here, so I can sever this arm and take this arm off and leave the shoulder. That's great. But it would have been really nice to have another one here, some connection here, between here and down there. So I could take this whole assembly off and have a connection here to modularize this. So if I need to take this off, I can do that. Otherwise, what I gotta do is I've gotta take off his front cover, pull this line back, or I've got to take this off and I got to cut all this loose and pull his wires back up through here. So either way, it's not as easy as I would like it to be. So as luck may have it, went ahead and went this route, pulled the cover off. As soon as I pulled it off, found this ground busted right off of here. Now I don't think this was off here until I pulled the cover, because his arm's been working. Ironically, it's the line that goes to this arm, but it was wrapped around the screws right there, so those screws are a little long, so I might have to go in here and actually cut them off so it doesn't interfere with these here, with this stuff here. But yeah, that's interesting that I found that, happened to run into that, so that actually worked out real well. Well, has anybody ever wondered what a J5 arm weighs in this configuration here, no covers? 10.3 pounds. All right, currently this is what it looks like. Got a mark here, got that mark there, and the spring is approximately right there, because it's going to want to do that. But I think when I put this back, what I'd like to do is actually turn this more to where it's got more tension on it, if possible, even if it's just like even like that. I don't know. You can try it, but or maybe you can go around one complete revolution, give it real good tension. So I got it apart here, and yes, I'm working on a chair because I've got other activities going on up here, but there's definitely some rubbing action that was going on in here. You can see, it looks like the screws may have backed off. I've yet to pull them just yet, but the new design is definitely superior in the sense that it would prevent some of this. I'm gonna have to pull that out of there to get it all cleaned up. I think when I put this back, I'm going to try to tension the spring more. Go another revolution, would probably be nice. While we have this apart, take a look at that. Well, I got them out. I did not put Loctite on this side, and I seem to remember I didn't in the beginning, and I just didn't want to take it all back apart right at that moment in time. So here we are, boys and girls. Get these Loctited up and get us all back together. All right, all in all, this actually was not in that bad a shape. I mean, those screws had backed off, but they hadn't backed off enough where they were rubbing this, so the inner side of this. So that's great. They actually just backed off enough for this to swivel, but if I had kept going, there's a possibility they could have come all the way out. Possibly. They were hard to get out anyway, so I don't know. They seem to be pretty captive, but pretty happy with this now. It's back in here nice and snug. And I've clocked this another quarter of a turn fixed this way, so now when this wraps all the way around, it's going to have that much more tension on it. I think it's going to be a lot better. And then, yeah, getting ready to put this piece on. This piece is holding up actually really well. Paint's holding up really well on it too. So I'm pretty happy about that. So this will go on there. We'll get that spring on there, and then we'll clock all the way around and then bolt it down. So that is about where it'll be when it's tensioned. So that's what the spring will look like, just in case anybody's curious, which is more tension than it was previously. So hopefully that'll help with the counterbalancing. We got her back together. We got us all in there. It's nice and clocked tightly. Decided to go against chopping this line up and adding another connector in here. I just think that having too many connectors just is another point of failure. So what I've decided to do is I've brought these at the end of these lines. Instead, I'm just going to make sure that I've got some connections here I can disconnect. So I've got my power connection, obviously. This is my data connection for the Kyber, and then this is I'm adding a USB line coming out of here because I've got the Maestro on here, and I have a USB hub on the main part of Johnny, so this will go into the Maestro, into the USB hub in order to then when I connect into the USB connector on Johnny's tool arm, then I'll be able to talk to the arm, the head, and the mid torso all at once. And then I'll do the same on the other arm eventually. But I figure while I had it apart, I'm going to go ahead and add that in here. So, and I'll zip all that together, get that put back in there. That should work out fine. So, there we go. That was definitely an improvement. So, his arm now will stay roughly about right there. It kind of wants to go a little higher. Yeah, about right there. So definitely going a quarter of a turn helped quite a bit. I think probably another quarter of a turn might even allow it to be level. So little progress. So if I ever have it open again, I'll crank it another quarter of a turn and we'll be there. So definitely going to adjust that one at some point. But that spring is more than adequate. It just needs to be tensioned more. Finally got this all wired back up. Organized chaos is what I say. Looks very organized, but it's actually quite organized. It's just nice and bundled up so it stays out of the way. What I ended up doing was I put that connector on here so I can take his arm off easily now for the data line, but I ended up going ahead and putting a connector on for the other arm too, so when I get ready to pull that arm off and work on it, I can easily just snip that and pull the power cable and pull it off there. And then I added this for the USB. I haven't finished that up yet. That'll go down into here. There'll be another one from the other arm. They'll both go down into there. So at least that's all nice and prepped now. And then this thing blew out on me again. It wasn't because of overcurrent of the robot. Something shorted, and I'm not sure what. The short went away. So what I've decided to do is stick a fuse on here on the output to save these. These are not super expensive, but they're a pain to change out. So I put this fuse on here for the output, so if something does over here short out for some reason, the fuse will pop as opposed to blowing out this buck converter. So obviously all this is until there's a circuit board designed, then I'll probably convert over to that, but that'll at least help save these going forward. Luckily I had a spare. So all right.